Good day. Thank you for joining the midday news on BCOS television. I am Ifeoluwa Olaoye. In a bid to enhance the country's security architecture and improve the operational effectiveness of the Nigerian Army, President Bola Tinubu has approved the expansion of the Nigerian Army's structure from 8 to 12 divisions. The presidency, in a statement, said that the expansion builds on the administration's sustained investment in the armed forces, including approval for the recruitment of 28,000 additional personnel, acquisition of critical military platforms and equipment, improvements in troop welfare, and ongoing support for operational readiness and force modernization. It explained that the approval underscores the president's unwavering commitment to equipping the armed forces to address Nigeria's evolving security challenges effectively and to strengthen national defense capabilities further. Under the new structure, the Nigerian Army will operate 12 divisions strategically positioned across the country. The presidency further explained that the implementation of the new force structure would be done in 2 phases, with the first phase covering the establishment of the 5, 9, and 10 divisions and the reorganization of the existing formations, which will be completed by September 2026. The second phase, involving the establishment of the 83 Division and further reorganization, is expected to be completed by December 2026. The decision of Oyo State government to approach the Federal High Court for clarification on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's demand for copies of all contracts and details of transactions with contractors between 2021 and 2025 is not an attempt to forestall investigation, because neither the state government nor Governor Seyi Makinde has anything to hide. In a release signed by the Special Advisor Media to the Oyo State Governor, Dr. Sulaiman Olanrewaju, Governor Makinde's administration has managed state finances with prudence, which is why it has successfully constructed more roads, rehabilitated more primary health care centers, increased access to qualitative education, employed more civil servants, as well as paid salaries and pensions regularly, among others. According to the release, the EFCC's request for copies of all contracts and details of transactions with contractors from 2021 to the date of its letter was a blanket request, reason why the state government asked the commission to specify the contractors or companies under investigation so that relevant documents could be provided. It added that when the EFCC failed to respond, the state approached the Federal High Court to determine whether such a sweeping demand was lawful. The court acknowledged the EFCC's statutory powers to investigate financial crimes, but ruled that the commission's demand was speculative and amounted to a fishing expedition. Justice Nkeonye Maha, who presided over the matter, set aside the EFCC's letter dated 2nd June 2025 and declared that any request by the commission must be reasonable and tied to specific allegations. Security at the grassroots received a boost in Oluyole local government area of Oyo State, with the commission in growing residential communities. The project is aimed at strengthening intelligence gathering, improving emergency response, and enhancing the safety of lives and property within the area. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurrafi was there to bring the details.
Of mankind, I love my position in this particular project. Commissioning the facility, the secretary to the Oyo State government, Professor Musiba Babatunde, said security has remained a major priority of the Governor Seyi Makinde administration since assuming office in 2019. He noted that the establishment of the community Amatekun post will complement the efforts of conventional security agencies by extending security coverage to communities and promoting intelligence sharing between residents and security operatives. Professor Babatunde commended the chairman of Oluyole local government, Engineer Akim Olatunji, for initiating the project, describing it as a practical demonstration of the government's commitment to tackling insecurity at the grassroots.
What the government is doing in addressing insecurity challenges, especially at the grassroots level. Having an Amatekun office, people this particular community, whereby there is no security coming from the Nigerian police, or it's going to go a long way to give assurances to the citizens and the residents of Iroyin Ojo-Kanri community.
In his remarks, the deputy governorship candidate of the Allied People's Movement, APM in Oyo State, Engineer Muftau Opunsalao, described security as
the reason why the composition of the leadership of our party have decided to elevate him.
Earlier, the chairman, Oluyole Local Government, Engineer Akim Olatunji, explained that the project was initiated by members of the Ayegun Olomi community before the council intervened to complete it. He said the council also provided water, electricity, and motorcycles to support the operations of the Nigerian Forest Security Services and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. According to him, the location of the security post was carefully chosen because of the rapid development of the area, its proximity to the Ibadan Circular Road, and the distance residents previously traveled before accessing security services.
I can say it's one of the fastest developing community probably in Nigeria. So I'm very close to the Circular Road. So by virtue of that, the security of our people has to be at the front burner. So that's why we decided to put this one here. At least residents of this area to report to the nearest station. It's Asayo, which is about several miles away from here.
Traditional rulers, community leaders, and residents commended the initiative, expressing optimism that the security post will curb criminal activities and create a safer environment for residents and businesses. The event was attended by traditional and community leaders from Ayegun, Olomi, and Olojoro communities and featured the presentation of motorcycles to the Amotekun Corps, the Nigerian Forest Security Services, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to strengthen security operations in the area. Adebayo Abdurrafi, BCOS News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Oyo State Office, says the third and final phase of the Continuous Voter Registration, CVR exercise, which was extended by 2 weeks, will end on Sunday, July 26, 2026, ahead of the 2027 general elections. Resident Electoral Commissioner, Professor Adeni Rotela, however, urged eligible Nigerians, especially Oyo State residents who are yet to register and registered voters seeking transfer, PVC placement, or correction of personal details to take advantage of the extension before the deadline. Professor Tella advised prospective registrants not to wait until the final days of the exercise, warning that late registration could result in congestion, long queues, and avoidable disappointment. He said the Commission has introduced a self-service online registration portal to enable first-time voters complete their registration conveniently online without visiting INEC offices. The Resident Electoral Commissioner reaffirmed INEC's commitment to conducting a transparent, inclusive, and credible voter registration exercise, urging all eligible residents of Oyo State to complete their registration within the stipulated period. Disobedience, quick wealth agitations, illicit drug usage, among other vices, have been attributed to causes of high rates of deaths among youths and young adults in the country. Stakeholders disclosed this in a report put together by BCOS correspondent in Ogbomosho, Aderemi Akamu. His report is presented by staff reporter Bimbo Akombi.
It is obvious that the high rate of deaths among Nigerian youths and young adults are caused by various negative social vices. However, adverse effects on these youths, referred to as the future leaders of the country, are not living to be leaders as they are dying unexpectedly at young ages. This high rate of deaths is attributed to involvement of youths in ungodly acts, negative social vices, and criminal activities which parents, guardians, and government needs to beam their searchlight on to help save the youth. A cleric and stakeholder Reverend Dr. Victor Oyelowo, who expressed displeasure over involvement of Nigerian youths in acts that leads to untimely deaths, attributed high rates of deaths among youths to disobedience to the will of God and directives of parents, alongside looking for wealth in quickest and ungodly ways. The cleric who charged parents and guardians to take proper care of their children to adhere to the will of God also appealed to young adults to desist from the acts that will destroy their lives so as to enjoy longevity of life.
One of the reasons why there is high rate of deaths among youth is disobedience to parents, disrespect to elders, dishonors and or disobeys his or her parents cannot enjoy longevity of life.
Also, a health practitioner, Adewale Adeyemo, pointed to illicit use and consumption of hard drugs and drinks as one of the reasons why lives of youths is cut short, calling on government and other relevant stakeholders to intensify efforts in warning Nigerians against drug abuse. Also, a community leader, Baale of Falade, Chief Adeshino Onefade, stressed that aside consuming hard drugs, youths of nowadays are involved in acts of rituals without thinking of its consequences. They all agreed that the future of the country lies on the future of the youth. Therefore, proper attention is needed on how to guide their living for a better tomorrow.
BCOS TV is now on Niger TV app, and you can watch us from any part of the world. BCOS website is live. Kindly visit www.bcostv.com. You can also watch us on GoTV channel 134 and channel 113 on Star Times. Now, before I go, security is everybody's business. If you see something, say something. That ends the midday news. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.
As an accountant, federal education in Nigeria have been increased. Are we now seeing the value for money in project and execution across the state?
Yes, to some and others too. Many say no. Many will be political. And you know that some people, they can never see good aspects of any current or ruling regime, simply because of their ulterior motive or their politicalism. Economy is like a tree. Where you fell a tree today and you plant another one. It's not what that will just generate in a day. That will now be big one and it will take time. But for this increase in Nigeria is affecting, if you look at our infrastructure critically and the way the agriculture sector are being developed, and we see that there is an improvement.
Ẹ káàsán, a kú iṣẹ́ látàárọ̀. Ìròyìn ọjọ́ kan rí ni mo mú wá fún yín, Mumi Elégbèdé lórúkọ tèmi. láti ró ìlànà ààbò orílẹ̀-èdè yìí lágbára sí i àti láti mú ìgbélárugẹ bá ìṣọwọ́ ṣiṣẹ́ iléeṣẹ́ ọmọ ogun orílẹ̀. Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu ti ṣàmúgbòòrò iléeṣẹ́ ọmọ ogun ilẹ̀ yìí láti iléeṣẹ́ ọwọ́ 8 sí 12 nínú àtẹ̀jáde tí iléeṣẹ́ ààrẹ fi síta. Àmúgbòòrò yìí ló wà láti ṣàfikún òṣìṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú ọmọ ogun bí ààrẹ ṣe fọwọ́ sí gbígba èèyàn 28,000 sí iléeṣẹ́ ọmọ ogun náà. Bákan náà ló ṣàlàyé pé ìfaraẹnijìn yìí ló wà láti ró iléeṣẹ́ ọmọ ogun lágbára láti lè wá ojútùú sí ìpèníjà ààbò tó ń kojú orílẹ̀-èdè yìí àti ró iléeṣẹ́ ọmọ ogun nínú ìkápá rẹ̀ láti dáàbò bo orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Iléeṣẹ́ ààrẹ tún ṣàlàyé pé ìṣàmúlò ọ̀tun yìí ni wọn yóò ṣe ní abala méjì tí abala àkọ́kọ́ yóò sì rí sí ìdásílẹ̀ ọwọ́ 5, 9 àti 10 iléeṣẹ́ ọmọ ogun, nígbà tí ìrètí wà pé abala kejì ìdásílẹ̀ ọwọ́ 73 àti àtúntò mìíràn yóò wáyé kí oṣù kejìlá ọdún yìí tó parí. Wáyé o, ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ti ṣàfọ̀mọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ nípa bí ó ṣe tọ́ ilé ẹjọ́ gíga ìjọba àpapọ̀ lọ lórí ìbéèrè tí àjọ tó ń gbógun ti ìwà ìbàjẹ́ nídìí ètò ọrọ̀ ajé nílẹ̀ yìí EFCC ń béèrè nípa àwọn ẹ̀dà gbogbo ìwé iṣẹ́ àkànṣe àti ìdúnàdúrà owó pẹ̀lú àwọn agbaṣẹ́ṣe láàrin ọdún 2021 sí 2025. Kì í ṣe ìgbìyànjú láti pagidínà ìwádìí rẹ̀ tàbí pé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ yìí tàbí gómìnà Mákindé lẹ́bọ lẹ́rù tó ń fi pamọ́. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde tí olùdámọ̀ràn pàtàkì fétò ìròyìn gómìnà ọ̀mọ̀wé Sulaiman Ọláríwájú fi síta jẹ́ kó di mímọ̀ pé ìṣèjọba gómìnà Mákindé ṣe àmúlò owó àti ọ̀rọ̀ ìpínlẹ̀ yìí bó ṣe yẹ. Ìdí nìyí tó fi ṣe àṣeyọrí nínú líla àwọn ojú ọ̀nà sí, ṣíṣàtúnṣe àwọn ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé, ṣíṣàfikún níní àǹfààní sí ètò ẹ̀kọ́ tó pójú owó, gbígba ọ̀pọ̀ òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba sí iṣẹ́ tó fi mọ́ sísan owó oṣù òṣìṣẹ́ àti owó ìfẹ̀yìntì àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì déédéé. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí àtẹ̀jáde náà ti wí, ìbéèrè àjọ EFCC fún gbígba ẹ̀dà àwọn iṣẹ́ àkànṣe àti ìwé ìdúnàdúrà pẹ̀lú agbaṣẹ́ṣe láàrin ọdún 2021 títí di àkókò yìí ló jẹ́ ìbéèrè tí kò lẹ́sẹ̀ ńlẹ̀. Ìdí nìyí tí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi ké sí àjọ náà láti jẹ́ kó mọ àwọn agbaṣẹ́ṣe tàbí ilé iṣẹ́ gan tó fẹ́ darí ìwádìí rẹ̀ sí kí wọ́n lè pèsè àwọn ìwé èyí tó yẹ fún un. Bákan náà ló ṣàlàyé pé bí àjọ EFCC ṣe kùnà láti fèsì ní ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi tọ̀ ilé ẹjọ́ àpapọ̀ lọ láti mọ̀ bóyá irúfẹ́ ìbéèrè náà bófin mu. Bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ilé ẹjọ́ gbà pé àjọ EFCC ní agbára lábẹ́ òfin láti ṣe ìwádìí ẹ̀sùn owó náà, àmọ́ ó gbé ìdájọ́ kalẹ̀ pé irúfẹ́ ìbéèrè bẹ́ẹ̀ dàbí ìgbà tó ń fimú fínlẹ̀ kiri ni. Adájọ́ Nkioye Maha tó darí ẹjọ́ náà gbé ìwé tí àjọ EFCC kọ lọ́jọ́ 2 oṣù kẹfà ọdún 2025 ti sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan. Ó sì kéde rẹ̀ pé ìbéèrè yòówù tí àjọ EFCC ń béèrè fún gbọ́dọ̀ fi sun àwọn ẹ̀sùn gbòógì ni. Ètò ààbò lẹ́sẹ̀ kòkó ní ìgbélárugẹ ti dé bá ní ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Olúyọ̀lé pẹ̀lú ìdásílẹ̀ ibùdó ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn ní Ayégun Olómi, ọ̀kan lára àwọn agbègbè tí ìdàgbàsókè ti ń yá kánkán ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ètò yìí ni àfojúsùn rẹ̀ wà láti ró ààbò lágbára sí i, títètè dáhùn sí ìpè pàjáwìrì àti dídáàbò bo ẹ̀mí àti dúkìá àwọn olùgbé agbègbè náà. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Adébáyọ̀ Àbírọ́ fún ìṣàkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn náà. Ìròyìn tó kù rèé, ẹ bá mi ká lọ. Nígbà tó ń ṣí ibùdó náà, akọ̀wé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Musbah Babatunde ṣàlàyé pé ètò ààbò jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára ohun tó múmú lọ́kàn ìṣèjọba gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé látìgbà tó ti dépò lọ́dún 2019. Bákan náà ló wòye pé ìdásílẹ̀ ibùdó ikọ̀ ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn ságbègbè náà yóò kún àyàn àwọn àjọ aláàbò yòókù lọ́wọ́ nípa ṣíṣètò ààbò fún àwọn agbègbè àti mú ìgbélárugẹ bá ìfimúfínlẹ̀ kó ìròyìn jọ láàrin àwọn aráàlú àti àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ aláàbò. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Babátúndé wá gbóríyìn fún alága ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Olúyọ̀lé onímọ̀-ẹ̀rọ Akeem Ọlátúnjí fún ojú inú àgbékalẹ̀ iṣẹ́ àkànṣe yìí. Ó ṣàpèjúwe rẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àfihàn ìfaraẹnijìn ìjọba sí wíwá gbòdẹ́kùn fún ààbò tó mẹ́hẹ̀ lẹ́sẹ̀ kùkú.
àwa ṣí ilé ààbò tí wọ́n kọ́ fún àwọn Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn láti máa ṣe kí láti máa mójútó ọ̀gọ́rọ̀ ètò ààbò ní agbègbè Olúyọ̀lé tó jẹ́ pé Ayégun Olómi ni wọ́n ṣí fún láti máa mú gbogbo tó bá ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní orílẹ̀-èdè nísìnyí. Ètò ààbò ó ṣe kí ni ó mẹ́yẹ díẹ̀ látara àwọn oríṣiríṣi àwọn agbésùnmọ̀mí tó ń gbé àwọn èèyàn káàkiri. Àwọn àwò pé Aláàjì Akeem Ọlátúnjí wá ní pé rárá ìwẹ́kú rẹ̀ máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ládùúgbò, ẹ jẹ́ ká mú ètò ààbò ká mú lọ bá àwọn èèyàn.
Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀, olùdíje fún igbákejì gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lábẹ́ àṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú Allied People's Movement APM onímọ̀-ẹ̀rọ Muftau Opun Salau ṣàpèjúwe ètò ààbò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ojúṣe gbogbo ìjọba. Ó wá pè fún dídókòwò sí i fún àwọn ètò ààbò lẹ́sẹ̀ kòkó. Bákan náà ló pè fún títètè fọwọ́ sí ìdásílẹ̀ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ láti ró ààbò lágbára lẹ́sẹ̀ kòkó nígbà tí ó ń gbóríyìn fún alága ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ náà fún ṣíṣe àtìlẹ́yìn fún ikọ̀ ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò.
Kúra mọ́ àzìkì àti ó dá Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn lẹ́bi Ọ̀yọ́ State.
Ṣáájú nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀, alága ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Olúyọ̀lé onímọ̀-ẹ̀rọ Akeem Ọlátúnjí ṣàlàyé pé iṣẹ́ àkànṣe náà ní àwọn èèyàn agbègbè Ayégun Olómi ṣe atọ́nà rẹ̀ kó tó di pé ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ náà bá wọn dá sí i láti parí ẹ̀. Ó ṣàlàyé wípé ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ náà pèsè omi, iná àti ọ̀kadà láti ṣe àtìlẹ́yìn fún ikọ̀ ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò náà àti àwọn aṣọ́gbó tó fi mọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ aláàbò àjọ tí ó ń rí sí ààbò ara ẹni láàbò ìlú. Bákan náà ló ṣàlàyé pé ibi tí wọ́n gbé ibùdó ikọ̀ ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò náà sí ni wọ́n wá láti lè mú ìdàgbàsókè bá agbègbè náà àti wípé ibi tí wọ́n gbé sí yìí òun náà ni ó súnmọ́ ibi ojú ọ̀nà Olóbìrípo èyí tó gba ẹ̀yìn odi ìlú Ìbàdàn kọjá tí kò sì jìnnà rárá sí ibi tí àwọn aráàlú ti máa ń rìnrìn àjò tẹ́lẹ̀ tí wọ́n fi lè tètè kàn sí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ aláàbò.
Pé àdúgbò yìí ó jẹ́ ibi tí ó ń tètè tó yára láti gbòòrò àbí láti dìbẹ́lọ̀bù ìdàgbàsókè jù ní Nàìjíríà. So ó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ló jẹ́ bí àárín gbùngbùn fún àwọn wọ́ọ̀dù wa mẹ́ta kan wọ́n 7 wọ́n 1 wọ́n 6. So Ayégun ló jẹ́ àárín gbùngbùn ńlá fi gbé wá síbí láti ibi tọ́yọ̀ kan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ tẹ́fẹ́ lọ rìpọ́ọ̀tì bóyá ní police station àbí kan ẹ nídìí láti lọ several miles away ní ètò ṣe pé ẹ lè lo bí 1 hour or 2 hours náà kẹ́ tó lọ kẹ́ tó padà òun la fi wò pé ká gbé síbí.
Àwọn ọba àlàyé àti àwọn aṣáájú agbègbè tó fi mọ́ àwọn olùgbé agbègbè náà gbóríyìn fún ojú inú yìí wọ́n sì fìrètí hàn wípé ibùdó ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò yìí yóò wá gbòdẹ́kun fún onírúurú ìwà ọ̀daràn yóò sì tún pèsè ààbò tó péye fún àwọn èèyàn agbègbè náà àti káràkátà wọn. Àwọn ọba àlàyé àti àwọn aṣáájú agbègbè láti Ayégun Olómi àti Olójúoró ni wọ́n péjú síbi ètò náà tí wọ́n sì fún ikọ̀ ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò ní àwọn ọ̀kadà tí wọ́n fi ṣiṣẹ́ tó fi mọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ aṣọ́gbó. Ti ṣàlàyé pé ìpele kẹta àti àṣekágbá ètò ìforúkọsílẹ̀ olùdìbò tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ èyí tí wọ́n ṣe àfikún àkókò rẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ fún ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì yóò wá sópin lọ́jọ́ ìsinmi ọjọ́ 26 oṣù yìí ṣáájú ètò ìdìbò gbogbogbò ọdún 2027. Kọmíṣánná àjọ elétò ìdìbò INEC nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Adéníran Tẹ́lá rọ àwọn ọmọ ilẹ̀ yìí tí kò tí ì forúkọsílẹ̀ pàápàá jùlọ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àti